Hi, welcome to my Facebook Live. My name is Chetan Parkyn, and today we're going to carry on with my series on the 9 centers in the Human Design Life Chart. Today we're going to the Spleen Center in the Life Chart and the center of health, well-being, passive intuitions and fears. Please have a copy of your chart handy so you can follow along with what applies personally to you in your design. If you don't have a copy of your chart, please go to humandesignforusall.com and download a free report which will contain a copy of your Human Design Life Chart, as well as details about other aspects of your design. You can also download free software to your own computer and draw up as many charts as you'd like. With your smartphone or tablet, you can go to thehumandesignapp.com and you'll be guided to the sources to install Android or Apple iOS versions of the free app on which you can draw up charts and experiment with human design there. So, to date, we've looked at the Crown Center at the top of the chart, our source of mental inspirations, the Mind Center, second from the top, and the place where we formulate our circumstances, the Throat Center, third from the top, where we give expression to our lives, and then the Self Center, the fourth from the top, from where we find our identity and our bearings in life. And we've also looked into the Heart Center and the source of human willpower, our wishes, our wants, and our willingness. In this talk, we're going to have a look at the Spleen Center, the triangle center in the lower left portion of the Human Design Life Chart. A couple of things before we go deeper into this center is to notice that it connects to all centers except the mind and the crown, so the Spleen Center operates independently of thoughts, and in particular it does not connect directly to the Emotion Center, the source of our dramas and the center of our life experiences, pleasures, pains, addictions, spirituality, and other aspects of human life. The Spleen Center is an ancient source of awareness, and curiously, one we still share with plants, insects, reptiles, fish, birds, and the animal kingdoms. It is presumed in the scientific world that before humans learned to stand on their hind legs, and even in the early years as a biped, splenic survival awareness alone ruled. We survived through paying close attention to our instincts and our sense of smell, our intuitions, our sensitivity to hearing, and our sense of taste, and recognizing what appealed to us enough to make us expand our gifts, our knowledge, and our abilities. To start with, we lived on the lower ends of the food chain behind carnivorous animals. However, when we stood on our hind legs, science says, splenic awareness started giving way to mental awareness, as gravity prevailed and our heads had less blood running through them, thus allowing the brain's synapses to develop. With the development of the brain, we started formulating life and had the possibility to move away from purely survival instincts, but not away completely. We are still subjected to visceral fears, and the most profound of which are the fears of death, taxes, and curiously, public speaking. In physical terms, the spleen center can be likened to the lymph system that has its own pulse and process of guarding against viruses, bugs, bacteria, diseases, and toxins and removing them from our bodies. The spleen's alertness operates in present tense. It is not a thinking process like the mind that weighs up situations, or like the emotion center that feels into things to find them appealing or either pleasurable or painful. Splenic awareness is instant, and its assessment of our environment is instant. The spleen gives a signal, and you either pay attention to this signal or not. It is not a signal that repeats, so if you miss it, you have missed a potential shift in your immediate circumstances. Whether the shift is alerting you to something dangerous or not is up to each person to determine. The spleen's senses might equally be giving an alert to a change in the fashion world's styles and colors, as to a shift in movements in the stock or cryptocurrency markets. It might be indicating a change in the weather, or giving an intuitive sensation around someone's state of being, their health, and their safety. It might be indicating something advantageous coming your way, or a potential threat. It can pick up on the sounds around you to let you know of an impending change in your company or neighborhood. It can bring up an ancient memory that somehow relates to your present circumstances. Paying attention to these signals is a natural part of our abilities, especially for those who have the spleen center defined and therefore turned on all the time in their life chart. For those with an undefined spleen, these intuitive abilities, and in particular fears associated with the spleen center, will very often relate more to other people's circumstances than your own. It is very important not to be conditioned by other people's fears and survival concerns unless they're relevant in your own life too. Being frozen in a state of fear is debilitating, to say the least. And priests, politicians, carpetbaggers, doctors and despots have played on people's fears forever. So a quick run round the 7 centers in the 7 gateways in the spleen center gives us the gateway of freshness, the 48, they're known as the well, from which we draw this world's knowledge. And this knowledge keeps on expanding as we inquire deeper and deeper into life. Knowledge can be either enhanced or not through gate 16 at the throat center and through the channel of talents, the 1648. Gate 57, called the gentle intuition, penetrates through the chaos of the world to determine those particular aspects that are undergoing change and transformation. This gate always has an ear for the future and can interact in speech with gate number 20 at the throat center, the gateway of the now, and relates intuitive caricatures of life's particular movements. It can connect with gate 10 at the self center to enact behaviors that keep that person safe. It can interact with gate 35 of power at the sacral center through a channel can be called resurrection, in that it gives direct injection of life force energy into the world and people in it. Gate 44, called patterns in the top side of the spleen center, gives connection to a cellular memory, somewhat like a solid state drive, just gives instant memory return. It attunes instinctually to the threads of life coming together to make up a woven pattern, and in an instant can determine trends both past and future. The potential connection to gate 26 at the heart center, the willpower center, can open a means to diffuse heartache, as well as provide innovative improvements to life. Gate 50, on the right side of the spleen center, is the gateway of values, and it provides an overview of what serves the world in terms of vigor, well-being, and time-worn traditions that work towards a healthy society. The connection with gate 27 in the sacral center opens the dimension of a caring quality that is combined with nourishment. Gate 32 on the lower side of the spleen center, called duration, provides the endurance to keep going through all of the changes that life brings. When connected to gate 54, called ambition in the root center, there is an opening for entrepreneurs to do their own thing outside of society's normal ways. Gate 28, called the game player of life, opens the possibility to celebrate life in all its wondrous ways. Connecting to gate 38 in the root center creates a definitively individual stance that will not be moved if its standards are not met. Gate 18 in the bottom corner of the spleen center, called improving, gives the means to upgrade ways in which life gets lived and the systems and mannerisms we employ to get ahead in life. The vital spark of joyous vitality in gate 58 from the root center can open to a lifetime spent in the pursuit of mastery. For those who have a defined colored-in spleen center, trust your instantaneous passive senses to be giving you valid input of your life circumstances. You might not get a complete picture, but in an instant you do get a heads up on something that is important for your attention. For those that have an undefined spleen center, be aware that you are susceptible to fears that are instigated from the world around you. Each of the spleen's gates has a fear relating to it. For example, gate 48 has the fear of not having enough knowledge. Gate 57 has a potential fear of the future. Gate 44 has a potential fear of the past. Gate 50 can fear taking responsibility. Gate 32 can be overwhelmed by change. Gate 28 becomes transfixed by the fear of death. And gate 18 can assume everyone knows better and constantly give its authority away. If you become frozen in fear, you deny your own authority and your own decision-making process. If, however, you can see the wisdom in what fears have been triggered in you, then you can relay this wisdom into the lives of others. In essence, with an undefined or an open spleen center, you have the means for diagnosing other people's immune system and their fears and their concerns. For those who have an open spleen center, that is with no gates activated in it at all, you probably know yourself that you have a psychic gift. You can read situations very quickly in the people and the world around you. Be very alert about picking up others' fears, because you'll find them completely debilitating if you absorb them. It is said that any undefined or open center can grow in wisdom. And with a spleen, we're talking here about our immune system. For those with undefined and open spleen centers, when you become ill, give your body what it needs in nourishment and rest, and then give it a little more. Again, I'm not saying this from the point of view of a medical professional, but more to give you insight into some of human design's scope. You might find that lightweight dosage of lightweight medicines suits your system best. The inherent wisdom in your spleen center will then have the opportunity to become armored. If you're taking care of it, it will become armored against any further maladies related to what you've just had. And the older you get, the stronger your immune system becomes. The same happens with your wisdom around the nature of fears. The more you observe them, the more you take care of them, then the greater the wisdom can become in this area of your life, and the less susceptible you are to them. For those with defined spleen centers, be watchful for lingering illnesses that you might tend to want to just shrug off. You can have a very strong immune system. However, it needs nourishing in effective ways to deal with lingering maladies. As a species, we're moving away from our fearful natures as we found ways to bring light to darkness, and for the most part, know how to control the wildness of nature around us. We now know how to figure out life with our minds. But most importantly now, we move towards becoming aware emotionally. When we manage emotional awareness and we move away from our fearfulness, we find multiple ways to enhance our health and well-being. And even though our spleen center will alert us to our life circumstances, we will start to expand quickly in our consciousness as spirit in human form. In our next talk, I'll be looking at the sacral center, the source of life force energy and its cross-pollination through us and into the world around us. Until then, be well, be fearless, and see you again soon. Bye for now.